Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz. Today is April 25, 2016 at 12:16 a.m. Birmingham. In the topic, dual growing trend of the pre-trib believers, and will everyone have a opportunity, even at death, to accept Christ? And I'm going to tell you about the growing trend of the pre-trib believers. And when I say believers, I'm speaking of those who teach it more than those who believe it. And the reason is, if you're going to hear it, some of you in your towns, you're going to have a preacher that'll tell it. And otherwise, you get on the internet and go see all those who are changing, all those who are shifting their focus from the mid to the post and moving all the way to pre-trib rapture. People are beginning to believe it because in the book of Daniel, God did say, seal the book till the time of the end. And then at that time, more knowledge will be increased. And indeed, knowledge has been increased, not only in computers, not only in major technology, not only in the CRISPR-Cas9 and stuff like this, but also in the understanding of the pre, mid, and post-trib rapture. There's no room for the mid and the post. There's not. And most of those who have been saying mid and post, and the biggest majority of them, believe it or not, are shifting to the pre. And I'm not talking about the Catholic Church. That's a whole different animal there. And I'm just talking about Christian in general. And but people that I knew and still know that taught all their life post, they've jumped mid and they've gone straight to pre. The understanding has grown. Even Benjamin Netanyahu gripped and got a hold of that in a way that he gave it to Putin at a meeting. Benjamin Netanyahu and Russian President Putin had a meeting some months ago, and Netanyahu told Putin at that meeting, he said, Mr. President, he said, you do know that Ezekiel 36 has passed. Putin acknowledged that. So what does that mean? By him saying it, a lot of people drove right into Ezekiel 36 to see what it said, 35, 36. When God called his people back home, Israel became a nation again in May 5, 1948. The time clock started. From that point, God says, and you will never be moved from your land that I gave you. You'll never be taken away from it again. You're here until the end. Putin acknowledged. And also what that says, anyone who tries to move the Jews off that land will be destroyed. That acknowledgement came from Putin straight up. He knows the Bible. And I'm beginning to believe, and other people are, and I'm taking, I've asked people if he agreed and he said that to Benjamin Netanyahu. I saw the meeting. I saw the conversation. If he acknowledged that, why would he be so bold and stupid to send his armies in battle with Iran and other countries against Israel? Well, God said one thing. He said, you're going to do your heart's desire sooner or later. your heart's deepest desire is to go in and take Israel. In order to do that, you have to kill every Jew. But you're going to stall. So I'm going to put a hook in your jaw and drag you in there. You're going to do what you came to do. You're going to do it. And you're going to do it on my timing, because this is the time. There is a time limit on this. And that time limit is rapidly coming up in Revelations chapter 4. In fact, about the end of it. And I don't necessarily believe, I wouldn't bet that Putin is the one that will lead Russia into that battle with Iran and other countries against Israel. I'm not so sure that Putin will be. He's supposedly a Christian, but yet knowing that he'd be destroyed and his people, knowing that, why would he go in and be cast straight into hellfire? Well, I'm not so sure he would. And the timing is looming. Wow. Everything's lined up. I think one of the last moves was the shipment of the S-300s to Iran from Russia. Russia is staged right now. They're fully staged. They've been testing American ships on water in by 600-700 miles an hour, missing by 20 feet. And we didn't see you. We turned away at the last minute. You're right. If Bush was in there, I guarantee you a rocket off of that ship would have caught that plane before it got another mile away and taken it out. But Obama, they're testing him. He is afraid. Obama is afraid, or Obama knows he's leading this country into the final days, into the new world order. But that can't happen as long as we're here. It can't happen, guys. The church is keeping Satan from doing his work right now today. And Satan can't finish until the church has been gone and taken away. That's going to happen soon. And those who don't know Christ, well, they have an opportunity to accept Christ in their death. In their death. Boom. If they get shot in the forehead, look, did you ever watch the movie Taken with Liam Neeson, where he shot the Muslim guy right in the forehead? That freezes this guy. It locks everything where it is. It's like throwing a huge steel boat into a flywheel and a crankshaft. It locks it tight. When that bullet hits you in the forehead, every muscle on you seizes. If you got a gun in your hand and you're about to pull the trigger and you get shot here, you can't squeeze that trigger. It stops your motor skills that fast. So, the point was, if you are in that place and you get shot right there, will you have an opportunity in that last nanosecond to accept Christ? Now, ironically, I believe you will. I just have to believe it. God didn't make billions of people to put most of them in hell. I don't know how many will be saved. I think raptured, a small number. And I'm going by what other people are saying. I'm not choosing a number, but I'm believing this. High number, 25%. A believable number, 15%. And if you're talking about worldwide, maybe even lower than that, maybe 10%. But then when you count those who take a bullet or something happens and they're already dead at the rapture of the church, I believe, even if that bullet catches them in the forehead, or they're laying on the chopping block and they hadn't yet said, forgive me, that sword hit them, they're over, I still believe before that head hits the ground, they have an opportunity to cry out to Christ. You don't have to say, Lord, please forgive me of all my sins, and I'm going to tell you why. Remember the thief on the cross next to Jesus? What did he say to Jesus upon his death as he died? What did he say? He should remember me when you come to your kingdom. That's it. And the Lord said, today you and I will be in paradise together. Things that simple will get you to heaven as long as you believe it. Jody Wolf Expoz.